Clubhouse. 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 Thank you. Clubhouse. Clubhouse. Thank you. Clubhouse. 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 Clubhouse.
Thank you.
Welcome to the new podcast. Nah, it's not new. Shut up, bro. It's the same. It's just me talking into a microphone, venting my frustrations with my family. That's sort of like my favorite at the moment, because I'm 35 going on to 36, and I've been dealing with the issues with my family since before I was born, when I was in the womb, my father went to jail before I was born, and he was in jail when I was born. And I always bring up that fact because it sort of paints the picture of the kind of person that he is, having sex with prostitutes, and now in my childhood home, I don't even know if she was a prostitute. I say that because my father had, brothel pamphlets at home. But I think she was just a heroin addict like him, and they sort of bonded over that. And, when you take heroin, your sex drive increases, I think, or afterwards. I don't know. You'd have to ask my dad. But there was a lot of issues that I had with him all of my life that I slowly realized as an adult, certainly after I was married, that he hadn't resolved any of the issues. He was still a monster, and he was never not a monster. He was, I think at best, a monster that was pretending that he wanted to do better. But if I think about why my father is the way that he is, it's pride. That's all. I really, really, really wish there was more to it. It was more complex than that. But no, he's too proud to admit that he's wrong. Okay. It's fine. He wasn't wrong when he fucked a prostitute in my childhood home. He wasn't wrong when he went to jail all those times. He wasn't wrong when he got his stomach pumped. He wasn't wrong when he bashed my mom. He wasn't wrong when he bashed me. He wasn't wrong when he handed over his property in Lebanon to one of his friends and never got it back. He signed away his property in Lebanon, and he will never ever get that back. Because he's too proud. He has to repay to get that money back, and he refuses to repay. Why should I have to repay? I went to jail. People should feel sorry for me. He's been trying to get the property that he lost in Lebanon for 20 years now. Oh, no, not 20 years, since he was in jail in Lebanon. Maybe 15 years or so. He won't get it back. My father is the endless story of failure. If this would have happened, very much, but if I would have purchased that property in 1980, I would have been a millionaire. Sure, but he was having sex with prostitutes and shooting up heroin. I understand he wanted to be a better person than he was, but he just is not, right? He's in Qatar now. He's not here with his son, trying to help his son, trying to move forward with the property that he owns with his son. He is an egomaniac and a narcissist. He never read that property is anything other than his. So to him, the conversation of sharing it with your son, with my son? No, that's my property and only my property. It's only ever been my property. My son is not involved at all. What about his name on the title? And then just the giant sort of cocaine-induced heroin, vile, disgusting sort of nature of my father comes back up. And, he uses that to just come up with all sorts of lies. Whatever. No shame in my father's lies. No shame. He came to Australia late last year and started a rumor about the Tesla that I was driving, that I stole money from the family to purchase that Tesla because he is a low person who's upset that his son is doing better than himself. I'm still frustrated that he won't talk to me, because he only wants to talk to me on his terms, and his terms is to pretend that he's a good person that is worth respect. What's the issue with that? He's not a good person. Give me something worth respecting. Can't. And my experience with my father has colored my interaction with other people in the family. So I've got a major issue with Halim from Osco that I can't get past because of my father. Now, Halim had a cocaine addiction, right? And Halim was trying to be like my father, right? And I never liked that. He was an abusive cocaine addict, right? That took all his frustrations out on people at work. So myself, when I wouldn't stick up for myself, and his brother, because he doesn't stick up for himself. People like Halim thrive on people that will just allow him to abuse them, I suppose. I don't know. But there's something kind of twisted and off about Halim, And I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's certainly depression and anxiety. It's certainly insecurity. It's certainly, social image. There's a lot at play with Halim. He was the one that helped Ami Sharbel get the AVO out on me, right? And I still haven't processed that. Like, I still don't understand why he won't just be a good person, do nice things. I really don't understand. He's not a person that is worth replicating. I'm trying to think of the right words, but he's not an admirable person, let's say. There we go. He's not admirable. You wouldn't want to follow him, right? Because the story of Halim is a story of weakness, of fear, right? And this sort of inability to fix your problems or to even see how much damage you're causing. It's the inability to see the damage that Halim's causing. There's something about Taouks in general that just have no empathy and no morals, right? Definitely not Christian. Definitely not Christian. The only Christian thing about Halim is the rosary that he wears, but he's not a good Christian. I can't emphasize that enough. It's unbelievable. Like, an atheist with a high school diploma is more morally refined than Halim. There's no morals to him. One of the first stories about Halim, one of the first sort of funny rumors about him, and it ended up being true, was when he was first working at Osco, with Mansour, and it's always really stressful to start a new business, right? And he hired a skip bin from Hazarati. Hazabin. Oh God, I love those companies. I love that company. And I might do a promo just for Hazarati and Hazabins, because they are just the best, company ever. They are like the pinnacle of awesome Lebanese marinite companies. Hazabin, and I don't know if they're still around because Bingo took their site in Greenacre, but I've seen their machinery, their trucks on construction sites, even in Darling Harbour, right? They're a great company. Mount Lewis Pizzeria, Sand Hub, Sydney Wide Building Material, and PTAR are excellent companies. Osco, not the best. But when Osco was first starting out, they hired a skip bin from Hazabin, And when you hire a skip bin, you hire it for a specific amount of time, normally a week. He had it for several weeks and he hadn't paid, and the bin was full. And they kept calling him and calling him and calling him. We want the bin back. We want to get paid. And Halim is a narcissist at root, right? So he doesn't see that another business needs their bin and he has a contract with them and an agreement, right? He just wants to make it about himself and the fact that he doesn't know how to manage his company and his finances, so he can't afford the skip bin. And he's so bad at conflict resolution. So there was a tragedy that happened at one of the Hazarati dumping sites where someone accidentally lost their life on site, right? I think they were run over by a machine or something. It was tragic, it was terrible, it was unavoidable, it was no one's fault. And Halim knew the person that had, basically like run over or injured, the person on site. And he was speaking to that person. Oh, no, he wasn't. He wasn't speaking to that person. Just on the phone, he cursed the person that died. And he cursed Hazarati. Lordy, because they wanted their skip bin back. This was soon after a tragic death. I'm pretty sure the person that passed away was a family member, because it was a family business. And he didn't see that. He just purged his emotion. Because he can't control his emotion, you see? Because he's very emotional. Halim is a Taouk, like me. Can't help it, when he gets angry. Oh, you fucking... Dog. Just like, the stuff that I was saying to Youssef, that he relayed to Saeed and Majid, and they called the police on me. It was all hot air. From a broken person, me, and we're talking about me now. I'm a broken person, just like Halim. Obviously, look at all the cocaine that he used to do in the past, and now he's smoking marijuana. Like me, right? He's broken. The story of Lebanese Maronites in Sydney, Australia, that came after the Civil War, is a story of a broken people. Not strong, resilient. No, sorry, bro. Broken, and we kept breaking our sons and daughters when we came here. That's the truth. Sorry, it wasn't this like great story of this immigrant battle. It's like, no, man, come on now. How much cocaine and prostitution was involved in our story, and we still, insist on, coming across like we're perfect. John Mitry's, cornering Jehovah's Witnesses at St. Charbel's because they're slightly different. Yeah. And all the while, no one's really sort of seeing the plank in their own eye in it. Fucking Jehovah's Witnesses are not religious enough for us, man. So what the fuck hope did I have of ever getting respect from my family for just being slightly different, You get paintings that grossly offend our family. We are just a sensitive, insecure type. Give me the heroic story. Give me something that's worth grasping onto in my family, in the Taouk community. Give me hope. There's plenty of that. There's Mark from TQ Web and Mossman Construction. He embodies hope, right? He went through such tragedy and he came out okay. I don't even know him. I haven't even seen him. I just know the aura that he has, right? But he won't show himself to the Taouk community. Because of the rumors, because of how uncomfortable he is, and because of how broken we are. Do you really think that Mark would have been able to achieve what he was able to achieve with Halim's in his life? With my father's in his life? With people like my uncle in his life? No. Sorry, nah. What he had was divine. Couldn't find it on the gosh darn earth. He had to go somewhere metaphysical for that. I tried to get help from my family. And all I got was the police being used as proxies. because they don't understand mental health. They don't understand suffering. They do understand it. They just don't know how to cope or process it. And I think that's the issue. I'm upset with Halim. I'm disappointed in his behavior. I'm disappointed at the type of person that he is. And this is me coming from someone that needed him to be a better person. To say to Saeed Majid, look, he called me months ago drunk out of his skull. He's obviously going through something. There's obviously something wrong with him. He's had substance abuse as an issue with him in the past. He's had emotional issues in the past. I've worked with him. He's been my worker for years. I know him. This isn't Andrew. Let's help him. Nope. None of that. Ooh, boy, howdy. How disgusting of me. How disgusting it was of me to think that I'd get something even close to that from my family. No. What I got was not wolves, not lions, but mutts, cunts, and dogs. It's all. It's all. Nothing great. No great story here, bro. Nah. And in the background, Tony died. No heroism, no God, no grace. Just in the muck with all of these creatures of the damned. Halim, Yusuf, Saeed ibn Ami Maroon, Majid ibn Ami Maroon, Ammi Maroon. My father, the fat, stinking junkie. That's all. That's all it was. People get confused. People get overcomplicated. No. I'm Lebanese. Okay. I had a lot of bad things happen to me because of my father, because of my Uncle Maroon, because of Saeed, because of Majid, because of Halim. And they knew that they were going to trigger me. They knew that it pokes me. And they kept doing what they did. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's your choice. You made a choice. Very clever. Calling the police 17 times, right? Calling the ambulance. Right? I get it. It's a great sort of thing. Halim was with his friends. I was alone. No one. Not a single solitary person but Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, motherfucker. You cunts. Alone out in the fucking wilderness, man, to find out that all I fucking needed was to be away from my family. Like, I was going to them for help, and that was sort of like, the worst sort of decision that I could make. So I'm upset at my family because of their absolute failure. In front of everyone, because they knew that I was posting everything on Facebook, right? And one thing that I thought was clear was my dedication to honesty. You know, I don't really want to hold anything back. I mean, and the whole thing about why Saeed's angry at me saying that I want to kill his baby, get the fuck over it, you fucking cunt. Did I kill your baby, you fucking idiot? These are words. I've heard way worse words come out of my father's mouth, come out of Halim's mouth, come out of Yusuf's mouth. Don't worry, bro. I know the evil that's in our hearts. I know it. I've seen it. I lived with my father when I was growing up. There is fewer people in the world that are grosser, that are more evil, that are more narcissistic, that are just lower than my father, Majid Saeed Taouk. And his grossness and his ability to manipulate people and influence people was so great that he turned a whole chunk of the Taouk family in Sydney and Lebanon into shit. A huge part of the reason why Halim is a bad father, bad husband, bad friend, bad cousin is because growing up, he idolized people like my father. And that idolization doesn't fade away. Candice, Halim's wife, told me that Halim doesn't like my father anymore. Awesome. Why does he act like my father? Why does he act like my father? He's not any better than my dad. Running away, pretending that you're the victim, refusing to help your kin, K-I-N. I say things like that and it sort of brings up a lot of emotion, and I think to myself, my God, what hope does his children have? Being in the belly of the beast, St. Charbel's college, punch bowl, right? I don't know. I don't know what that community, what that society affords people. I just know that a lot of the people that graduated from St. Charbel's College are relatively successful, but broken. The amount of meth addicts that I know in my family, the amount of heroin addicts that I know in my family, the amount of cocaine addicts that I know in my family, the amount of alcoholics that I know in my family. Lordy, the amount of people in my family. Google it. There's a court registry. Put in TAOUK, right, and it'll tell you the listings in New South Wales for the next month. I come up 3 times, all right, but there's so many people in the court registry. There's so many Taouks because we are criminals. Essentially, we haven't moved past that phase, of our story. Let's say, even though we should. Because we've got great stories, great people to sort of like look after, like Mark. Except Mark loves to fucking hide. There's no examples like him in the community. And the only examples, and if there were examples, like good, honest people, they get drowned out by the the wretches of the family, by the Halims, by the Saeeds, by the Majids, by the Ami Maroons, by the Ami Zulzus, by the Majid, my father, by the Amti. Oh God! And sorry, this is just the guys. The guys are one thing, but the women spreading their malicious rumors, like Russian housewives. That's when you really get into the nitty gritty of like the sort of Dostoevsky world. You realize that like our community, our society is so similar to the Russians at in the 19th century. So much of Dostoevsky's books revolved around women and rumors and talking and like just the self-sacrificing sort of Christian, it makes you realize that we're not really unique. We're just like everyone else, and we have a lot of negative attributes. Women, Lebanese Maronites in Sydney, or Lebanese Maronites in the world, I suppose I can say this, love rumors, are extremely gullible, and quite surprisingly, well, not quite surprisingly, but interestingly, although they are extraordinarily gullible, so they'll believe anything, they all also lie and stretch the truth. It's this insane mix of like gullibility and misleading, right? Or inaccuracy, or an inability to be able to relay like the truth. We love to embellish, because we're so animated and passionate, right? So we embellish, all right? And every time we embellish, we remove ourselves from like the truth a little bit, right? It's like Chinese whispers. And then no matter what we're saying, people believe it. Oh, which is why, be careful of listening to me and what I say. I am not the harbinger of truth. I'm not a schmuck like Charlie Buckhorse from, Christian Lives Matter and Stand for Truth podcast, right? I don't pretend that I'm standing for big T truth, or that what I'm saying is big T truth. What I'm saying is my feelings. What I'm saying is my opinions. What I'm saying in my most recent videos is that I was hurt. I want to move forward. I think the Taouk picnic is a great opportunity for the whole family to move forward. And what was the reaction from the community? Fuck off, you baby killing cunt. You're a piece of shit. Of course, by the way, that reaction doesn't surprise me. What would what would surprise me is for like someone to knock on my, door, Halim knock on my door and be like, hey, cuz, how can I help you? Let's work on this together. Right? That would fucking surprise me. Me getting like bashed in public, wouldn't surprise me, by my family, right? What would surprise me is them to do the right thing and do the good thing, and then to understand goodness when they see it. That's a huge, huge issue. They're so far gone from goodness and truth that they don't even recognize it when they see it. It's quite sad if you think about it. So what my media, what I've been producing recently is that part of my psyche, that part of myself that yearns to move forward, right? That yearns to create lemonade out of lemons. Not chew the lemons, all right? Skin all and everything, just eat them all, and then have a whinge that they don't taste nice. Sweetheart, I've got sugar. I've got water. I can mix it all up and make it something lovely. But you have people like Halim and Saeed that just see lemons. See the skins and their bitterness. Get the fucking lemons out of here, Kazi. It's just extraordinary. So Halim needs to step up, in my opinion, right? I feel like all he has is a success from Osco New South Wales, right? Which is fine. I was able to get up to that level in about 2 years working on my own. It's good. It's nice, right? And he should be so proud of that, right? But for me, the true pride, the true success is in him able to manage like a better lifestyle, man, where he's able to take time off and spend more time with his family and get more involved at social events and social gatherings. Because one of the biggest issues and hurdles for Halim is socializing and communicating properly. And he loses so much mental development because of his lack of social interaction. Right? Proper quality social interaction, not just hanging out with his cousins that he's known all his life because he's scared of other people, but, branching a little bit further out and testing himself and growing a little bit better, right? Developing, growing. That's what I don't see in Halim, right? I used to work with him in Evergreen. He's still the exact same schmuck as he was today as he was back then, right? He hasn't sort of moved past a lot of his sort of emotional... He made a lot of positive headway on his emotional development, which is great. But at core, he's still the same person, right? So whenever there's a tragedy or whenever, shit gets real, he fails. He falls and he crumbles, right? His version of fixing stuff is to just angrily look stoic, right? But for me, a true test of someone's mettle is their ability to look outside of themselves, to see outside of themselves, and to help their brother in need. The worst people I find are the people that just sit back and mock when they could help. Halim sits down, mocks, pokes and prods, laughs, feels great about himself. By the way, you're welcome, Halim. My mental breakdown, I'm sure, would have, made you feel like you were right all along. I don't know. There are some people that see someone sort of like suffering as like an ego boost for them. Ha ha ha, look what happened here, mate. That'll never happen to me. I'm so cool. It's like, dude, I'm only revealing myself to you because I need your help. Right? I have a choice who I message and who I text. Nana, your sister in the past, Yusuf, all those people. I'm trying to reach out to them. I don't do it for shits and giggles. I'm not like that. But he wouldn't help. And now the narrative is that, I don't know, I killed babies, or I told Yusuf 3 months ago that I wanted to kill Saeed's baby. Yuck. I hope I didn't say that. And even if I did, fuck you, Saeed, you piece of fucking shit. Right? If I would have spoken to you in person, I wouldn't have been that angry, and I would have said the most horrible, vile stuff. Oh God, man. The stuff that I said, dude, and the stuff that I said about Saeed's baby wasn't even the worst of it, man. Like the lines about skull fucking Marta Rosa, in front of Jesus Christ, right? Like that's cold, bro. That's really cold. And by the way, I don't want to do that ever. That's disgusting. I said it, right? Because I had so much rage that I needed to express, and it came out in my words rather than my fist. Do you understand? Like I could have broken property. I was sitting alone in my house with this sort of rage, right? I didn't want to break my property. Yusuf, God bless him, was one of the few people that would take my calls and speak to me. And he became sort of like the mediator, right? But it wasn't that. It was just he was being used by other people in the family that didn't respect him, right? To speak to me, right? He was like a dump truck, and I was just like dumping my rubbish into him, right? I treated him so poorly and so lowly in the past, and I'm so regretful for that, right? But it was such a bad time for me, and I don't like mean what I said, for God's sakes. I was crazy. I was driven crazy, and I would never want to skull fuck Marta Rosa. She's unattractive, and I have a beautiful wife, right? It doesn't make sense, right? Does it? Does it make sense that I wanted to do any of this sort of stuff? No, it doesn't make sense. It's crazy. No sense. Just emotion. Just emotion that was left unattended by a group of tokes that have no clue. That's all. Failures to the highest degree. A big F for the Toke family in Sydney. Let's move forward, yeah? All right. Love you. Bye.